Hello everyone, welcome back to Major Hi-Fi. I'm Luke. Today we're going to be talking about Ikko's DAC/amp, the Zerda or ITM01. Let's get into it. So I've only heard IEMs from Ikko. I think this might be one of their first, if not their first DAC/amp. I don't know why everything in this company has two names. It's all like the Obsidian OH1S or the this or that. So this one is called the Zerda or Zerda, Z-E-R-D-A, or the ITM01. I guess that I'll stick with like the letters and number name. It sounds more technically correct. I don't know. But either way, this is a very itty-bitty tiny sound card. It runs for $59, very affordable. It is meant, it says, for hi-fi music listening, gaming, and movie watching or cinema. Yeah, let's take it out of the box. So not much comes with this. You don't really need much for a DAC/amp that is this small. It's just got this fancy little magnetic port. We're gonna get into the cool cable that goes into that. And then we've got our little 3.5 millimeter going on over here. And the rest is just buttons. We got 3 buttons on the front. As far as cables go, we have a USB cable. So you plug in the end, this magnetic end, it goes into here. It just snaps in very easily. And then we also have the option of a lightning bolt cable. You can also buy this with a USB-C cable if you would like. And it's the same mechanism, just snaps in and then your headphones go in here. Very simple, very straightforward. In terms of functionality, let me show you how this thing works. So if you see I plug this in and it lights up, the camera's not quite getting it. It's actually a very cool LED. It lights up almost the whole side of it, but you're only getting kind of a slight glow because of all the lighting in here. But yeah, so basically we've just got our volume plus minus over here, and then in the middle we have this multi-function button, and if we press this once, it's play/pause. If you hold it down, it switches between the different sound modes, which correspond to the LEDs. So yellow, this is music listening mode. If we hold it down, we then go to blue, this is movie mode, and then we hold it down again. And we go to purple, and this is gaming mode. And so these all have their own sounds, which I'm gonna get into in just a second. So build-wise, this is definitely not much going on here. It's very, very tiny, which is great for portability. This will fit in your pocket, no problem, next to your phone, keys, wallet, whatever. I will say that the cable that comes with it, the USB cable, this one is pretty long, as you can see. It felt a little bit unruly at times to have this cable in addition to a headphone cable for my computer. Definitely does give you more mobility, but for me, sitting at my desk, I kind of have to do some cable management, but it's not a big deal. I just prefer this length of cable, which I'm aware is more for a mobile device, but I prefer this for my computer too, just a personal choice. And yeah, this has a plastic exterior, at least that's how it feels to me, which I don't mind. I wouldn't mind metal. It would make it heavier, which I know is maybe not an advantage, but frankly, even though I know it would be the same inner workings with metal, just having a metal exterior makes everything feel more luxurious. But also, this isn't a super expensive device. I'm sure it would be more expensive if it wasn't plastic. So I think it's worth it to make this a better bargain and maybe just have it have the plastic exterior. It's not a big deal. Other than that, it's very easy to use. The single button thing is just fine. So its build is good, does the job, but what really matters here is how it sounds. So this is meant to be basically a really simple sound card that you plug into your phone, laptop, your Switch, your PS5, your Xbox, what have you, and just give yourself a nice little upgrade. I talked in my last video about sort of like audiophile misconceptions and beginner audiophiles and stuff like that, and one thing I mentioned was that DAC/amps can be very difficult to understand the sound upgrade of if you are new to things like this. But I said that those that have kind of a sound modulating feature or a bit more coloring on them could be something where even if you're new to this, you're gonna be able to really hear the difference and the potential upgrade. And this is an example of an amp that is capable of doing both. So it does have a very neutral mode on it, but it also has the ability to really give you that very intense reformatting of the sound that anybody, whether you are new to this or not, will notice. So if you want a DAC that is maybe not the most transparent, but is definitely going to give you a very clear differentiation between the before and after, this is a good move, and it's also very affordable. This is a great place to start. So yeah, 3 modes on this: music mode, movie mode, and gaming mode. Let's start off with music mode, which was unsurprisingly the most neutral, the most subtle of the 3 modes. Definitely the most kind of straight up just run-of-the-mill kind of DAC cleanup going on. I felt some increase in the bass and a little bit of shininess added to the high end. It was a little more than I wanted on some of the headphones and IEMs I tested. I used this with the Final Audio A4000, I used it with the Hi-Fi Man Ananda, and I used it also with the Campfire, the new Holocene, and I used it with, what was the last one? Oh, I always go for the Dan Clark Audio Aeon Flow Open Back, one of my favorites right now. And so yeah, volume-wise, this does add a good little boost, especially for how teeny tiny it is. It wasn't quite enough maybe to drive like the Aeon, which is a little bit harder to drive. It didn't quite drive it maybe as loud as I wanted, but it wasn't like totally missing the mark. And then as for the other ones, it was definitely giving me a great increase in volume. The music mode is pretty, like, just adding that nice subtle clarity. It's not super colored. It's definitely more colored than a totally transparent amp, but compared to the following two modes, it's definitely the most neutral and the most versatile, which makes sense because it is for music listening, which has the most kind of unpredictableness to it, because music varies a lot. So does gaming and movies, but there's a little bit more consistency to the stylizing in those. So that brings me to movie mode, which is not too far of a cry from music mode, but it definitely has a bit of a stronger boost on the low end, along with an extension in the mid-range that kind of brings out vocals and stuff like that, which makes sense. It would definitely help to accentuate dialogue, and then that kind of extended low end would definitely help to bring extra sort of impact to those various very cinematic, intense, percussive parts and whatnot. And then we've got a kind of similar boost to the high end going on in the movie mode as we do in music mode. I found the movie mode to be a very satisfying sound. I definitely think it would be good for mostly movies. I did find it fun to listen to music with it sometimes, but I often felt the bass boost was a bit much for music since I'm very particular about it. But with a movie where I'm honestly a lot more okay with things being a bit more unbalanced, I could go for the kind of upped bass that the movie mode on this offers, and especially, like I said, so bringing the dialogue out with the mid-range boost is a very good idea and a nice complement to whatever headphones you're using. Alright, so next up is gaming mode, which is by far one of the most bizarre things I've heard from a DAC. I have heard DAC/amps do things like this, but this one definitely does it to a new level. So the gaming mode seems to be a sound widening mode. Not seems to be, it definitely is. It's undoubtable. I've of course heard DAC/amps that do some very kind of understated light widening of the sound stage. I've heard I think it's the Zen Can, which I used a while ago, from iFi, has like a 3D sound function on it that helps widen things up. This is like a whole other thing. I mean, it is kind of like that in terms of giving you like more dimensionality, but it's fully taking the sound, pushing it to the left and right, and the middle is like pretty hollowed out. It is like way wider. After you turn off the gaming mode, your headphones sound like mono for a second by comparison. It's pretty crazy. Even on a pair of IEMs, the gaming mode just like totally flings things outwards. It gives like a pseudo open back sound even to closed back headphones. It's really cool. It's very intense. Not everyone's gonna like it because of how intense it is. Like, it is not leaving anything in your headphones natural soundstage. It's totally making a new width for it, and it's a really big one. But definitely a drastic change. I see how it would work well for gaming. It would add an extra level of immersion. Some people might find this sort of like intense spreading going on to be a bit too much of like a kind of edge on things, I suppose. But I found it really cool. I even listened to music with it for a while just to sort of get that fun variation. Definitely wouldn't use it as like a go-to for music, but it is a cool option to have. And for gaming, I definitely see the appeal. So yeah, the gaming mode, frankly, is kind of, for me, the selling point of this because it's the most interesting thing. And for this pretty low price, to have the ability to make the width that much bigger is pretty impressive. Yeah, I think the gaming mode is really cool. It's really interesting. I really want people to try this and let me know what they think of it. For me, it was just this crazy expansion of width to a really wild level. It really shows your headphones capabilities that are not being totally tapped into. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Ikko Zerda ITM01. This is a very teeny tiny DAC/amp. It's very usable, very straightforward, and it's a great easy upgrade that comes in a small package. It's not the most transparent DAC/amp. If you want transparency pure and simple, this is not the place to look, but if you want a clear upgrade and some coloring, this is a great DAC/amp for that. And if you want a crazy boost to the soundstage on your headphones, then this is definitely the DAC/amp for that, at least in this price range. So if you want an easy upgrade, just a plug and play device, you're gonna have trouble finding anything better than this for under $100. I can't really think of any other product under 100 that quite rivals the leveling this has in the 50 to 60 range. So yeah, it's pretty freaking impressive. My only complaints are just that it's a little plasticky, cable's a little bit lanky, and it's not the option of like extreme transparency is not offered, but that's okay. Not every amp has to have that. So let me know what you think of this if you've tried it before, and let me know in the comments per usual if you have any other questions I didn't answer. I will be back very soon with some more videos and reviews, and until next time, happy listening.